something that everybody needs to keep an eye on, and that is the smart cities. This is all about smart cities, in addition to, of course, being about connecting people with technology. Well, you're going to be connected to technology via being connected smart city-wise. Now, they tell you having a smart city means, hey, we got free Wi-Fi everywhere. Well, smart cities start that way, but then smart cities will evolve as they condition people more and more to accept technology and eventually accept technology in their bodies. This includes smart cars. This includes smart everything, smart streetlights, smart this, smart that. And this is all about, obviously, control to the point where they finally control you. Remember, the only thing that you have that they can't take as of right now is your mind, your thoughts, you. And that's what they want. They want to be in your head. They want it for pre-crime purposes. They want it because they want it. As sick as that sounds. They want to know what you're thinking. They want total control of you in every way possible. Smart cities, 5G into 6G, will lead to that. Now, smart cities, they've been mentioned for a while. We know they've done demos. Well, now Dallas is looking to turn itself into a smart city. Oh, that's right, Dallas. So even places that you think are Republican states, because we all know here on this channel that the left-right is completely fake and a mirage, and you have to be smart enough not to fall into that paradigm, even though it's easy to get pulled into it because you see what lunatics live on the left. You got to realize that all these politicians, including, I believe his name's Governor Abbott down in Texas, who happens to be a World Economic Forum puppet, including him, all these guys, they're all on board for the fourth industrial revolution, and that has to do with the enhancement in technology and smart cities. And Texas looks like it's on board.
Is working to become a smart city with wireless internet access everywhere. Right now is limited to certain areas, but today city leaders voiced a big picture plan for the future that could also bring Dallas big bucks. Ken Kaltoff has the story.
These spots where new streetlights will soon be mounted will also be equipped for wireless internet. Devices that will attach to the lights can handle Wi-Fi, and also cameras with gunshot detection for public safety in what was once a high-crime area. Councilman Jaime Resendez also pushed for the new streets that will help put this spot at the top of the technology list.
To me, it's about equity and access to opportunity for all. Everyone in every part of the city should be able to reach their full potential and have access to the same types of resources as folks in other parts of our city.
Red Cloud was selected for this demonstration project as Dallas seeks to expand the push to become a smart city. The Red Cloud network will get a fiber optic connection to a fire station nearby as the city of Dallas considers a citywide fiber network that could bring this capability to many other places.
I believe that's going to help a lot of people around here, man, a lot, especially if it's just easy for them to connect. There should be no reason for nobody to say, I can't go to school or anything like that, or even work. It's a big challenge, especially work. People work from home.
Dallas used federal COVID relief money in the pandemic to get several other neighborhoods wired up with Wi-Fi on new streetlight poles to help kids with stay-at-home schoolwork. But now officials are thinking much bigger.
This is really transformational and we need it.
Council members and staff today were talking how to manage all the data and how to make money from a citywide fiber network that could one day cut property tax rates.
And let's celebrate what we're doing here as a council because this is very forward thinking, and let's show the rest of the nation that Dallas is where it's at and this is how you do it and do it right.
Red Cloud and an East Dallas neighborhood will be the next for free Wi-Fi later this year. In Dallas, Ken Kaltoff, NBC5.
So why is this dangerous? It's dangerous in a lot of ways. They market this however they want, right? And of course, they're not going to market it and scare anyone to death, even though most people will not be scared of smart cities because they love technology. They live for technology. But what they don't realize is that this technology is going to be in them, and guess what? They probably wouldn't care anyway. This is happening not only in Dallas, we also see plans of it in New Orleans. And cities across this country are going to become smart cities. They're going to start and just say, hey, it's easier to access Wi-Fi. You'll have a signal everywhere, and people will be like, that's great, great. Now I can walk down the road in New Orleans. You know, I could be down there at Mardi Gras, and instead of looking around me at what's going on, I'll just be on my phone because I have Wi-Fi all the times, and I'll walk right into a telephone pole. Yay! Because, you know, that's what people think about. How fast their internet is. Can they have it? They don't realize that they're programming them for smart cities, because this is where the infrastructure where people are going to be thrown into, but they're going to want to live in it because they're going to make it seem like this utopian, clean energy, no filth. Oh, everything's wireless. There's no car accidents because all the cars are controlled by the 5G tower. Thing after thing after thing. And these idiots, they'll be on board. They'll be on board. City leaders want Dallas to be a smart city with wireless internet access everywhere. The plans were discussed Monday at a briefing for the City Council Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. Of course, you heard the guy. He had a tone in his voice. I wonder if he's on the Hershey Highway. Isn't it crazy how you could see what somebody's preference is in the bedroom based on how they talk? That's nothing with the brain with that, right? You're just like, oh, well, I know what he does in his spare time in his room based on how his body language and how he talks. Yeah, that's not programmable. Yikes. Right now, they say the city's free Wi-Fi is limited to certain areas with more to be added by the end of the year. But Monday's discussion was about a very big picture for the future. And as city council members seeing dollar signs. Of course. All right. Many future connections could work through the proposed city network. This is so exciting, they say, and I think it's the beginning of many ways of a huge amount of data and important changes for our city. Right? Data means control. Right? The more data that they have, it means the more data they're getting on you. And again, that's what they ultimately want. They want to control and know your thoughts at all times. Pre-crime is not a thing of fiction. Pre-crime is a thing of reality. We're seeing it right now. We see that they go, if you're somebody who's a quote-unquote truther or someone like that, they're monitoring you. And if they think you're going to make a move, they come and get you. That's called pre-crime, right? But they'll tell you in the media, like, they jumped in and stopped it from happening. What? Well, nobody's planning on doing anything. It's because they want to make sure that they're protected at all times. And the only way they can do that is to know what you're thinking at all times. And if you're thinking anything that they don't like, goodbye. You go meet Luca Brasi and you sleep with the fishes. So many future connections could work. The proposed city network, they say, through the city network, I should say. This is so exciting. I think it's the beginning. Like they're very ready for the large amount of data that they're going to take in. During the pandemic, when kids were forced to stay home, Dallas became a huge problem in Dallas. Private companies declined to provide high-speed fiber internet in some portions of Dallas. Oh my goodness, the world must end. People don't have high-speed fiber internet in portions of Dallas. In other cases, families could afford the service that was available, couldn't afford it. Southwest Dallas is one of the areas that has some of the largest percentages of households with children that lack internet access. So this is going to be like the new thing that they market too is, oh my goodness, this family doesn't have internet access. Those poor kids, right? Whereas like when normal people were growing up in society, be like, that family, like they don't have enough food for dinner. And you'd be like, oh my gosh, let's see if we can help, right? Oh, this family up the road, they don't have a high enough internet speed. Oh my gosh, their parents are criminals. We got to do something about it now. They don't have 5G. They should be arrested and thrown in prison. Their parents won't let them pick their kid. They let the kid pick his own gender. We should arrest them. Welcome to the insane asylum. Is this Arkham? Goodness gracious. Now the Red Cloud neighborhood of Pleasant Grove off Bruton Road in southeast Dallas is one of the places to receive free Wi-Fi access. New streetlights to be erected on newly paved streets in the neighborhood will have Wi-Fi devices added on top. Devices also have cameras with microphones for gunshot detection, along with lighting for what has been a high crime area. Right? Again, that's another way to get this technology passed across and surveillance to be put in. I covered recently, right? The one place they're putting in, the people wanted the whole town under surveillance with cameras to read people's license plates, who comes in and out, right? And all in the name to stop crime. All in the name to stop crime. Right? And the next step from that is to stop pre-crime, right? So give up your privacy because you're afraid of something that's not going to occur, but the media tells you it's happening all over the place. Right? And then they say defund the police, which makes the whole thing just laughable, even though the cops are the fraternal order of Freemasons, really. So, I mean, that's what they do, right? They say, oh, well, if we have more Wi-Fi devices on streetlights, then we can have a safer neighborhood. Right? And the devices also have cameras with microphones for gunshot detection, along with lighting for what has been a high crime areas, like I said. So the lighting, I'm sure, will be purple, by the way. Right? Black street lights, the purple lights. You think so? I'm pretty sure they will be in the smart cities. You know why, too, right? You can see that strain, that Luciferi's, inside the body. So they push for new streets and a community upgrade that help push the Red Cloud neighborhood to the top of the technology list. To me, it's about equity and access to opportunity for all. Everyone should be able to reach their full potential and have access to resources as folks in other parts of the city. These are sentences, when I hear these sentences, it drives me absolutely insane because you hear people regurgitate this type of crap. They don't even know what they're saying. They're on autopilot, right? Everyone should be able to reach their full potential. What the F are you talking? Reach your full potential? As opposed to what? So if I have Wi-Fi, I could reach my full potential, right? And what are you talking about? What if I have no Wi-Fi? Are you saying I'm useless? That I can't reach, but I have no, let's say the Amish people, you saying that they're useless? They have no Wi-Fi. They can't reach their full potential? They're living pretty good. They're eating and drinking water every day. Probably have no drama really going on, maybe a little bit, but but you have to have high Wi-Fi speeds to reach your full potential. And people you ever hear people just saying that stuff? And like, be the best you, as opposed to what? The worst me? You do you. Me do me. I don't want to do myself. No, you do you. Like, do without will. No, you do you. Oh, you do you. As opposed to what? Am I pretending to be someone I'm not? I mean, what do you, They just say stuff. They hear it on TV. They hear the celebrities just put these phrases out there, trigger words, and these people repeat it. And they talk the same and they act the same. Oh, Tavistock. The damn Tavistock Institute, you could blame for all that. So anyway, the cameras, which you saw in the video on top of the streetlight, of course, to detect gun sounds. I mean, oh man. At one point, we're going to get to the point where if there is even a gunshot, the whole city is probably lights will fly out of the sewers. And alarms will go off that there was a gunshot because, of course, look, this is where we're headed as far as control goes, smart cities. And people think that this has to do with just having Wi-Fi availability in a city. This does not have to do with that. It has to do with everything about control. Why do you think they want driverless cars? Why do you think there's no real enforcement on texting and driving? Right? Shouldn't the phone just not work in the car as far as texting? Why, you don't think they have the capability to just put, say when you get in the car, like what do they have for people who have DUIs? Don't they have like a breathalyzer? Your car won't start. You breathe into the thing, and if there's alcohol in your breath, the car won't. So they can't have technology that it's like you get in your car, you can't text unless the engine's off. Right? Oh, what about the people in the car? Tough crap. Right? Have you been on the roads with these people? You see people just swerving in and out of lanes. It's worse than drunk drivers. And you look over and these morons are texting on their phone. That's probably one of the most dangerous things going on in the world right now is that. Well, there's a reason they don't pass legislation and anything on that or do anything like that. Because when they're ready to talk about that and address a high amount of car accidents and things like that, they'll bring in comments about smart cities and about driverless cars. Oh, we won't have accidents anymore. There have been a large amount of accidents. We won't have them anymore because we'll have smart cars that'll drive themselves. Brought to you by, a brand that people go, ooh, Mercedes, ooh. Yes, and you'll have no control. And when the car decides it wants to drive you off a cliff because you researched something online about Bohemian Grove, perhaps, or something along those lines, you go bye-bye. And manufacturer default. We're not reliable. You got in the car. Right, but you wouldn't let me drive my car because you got rid of gas. And nobody wants to go gay, which means go green and get an electric car because it's extremely gay. And, that's embarrassing. So smart cities are popping up in places where you would think, they're going smart city. I mean, all the cities are going to turn into smart cities. This is something I've been talking about for 5-6 years now on YouTube, and many others have, to keep an eye on these things, because it's not just about technology, it's about control. They'll be controlling things. They'll be pulling data out of your phone. They'll be pulling data out of you, and you'll be connected eventually to these cities. And it's a scary thought, but it's a reality. And people need to get ready for it, because they aren't joking about it. It's coming. And people just don't realize the severity of it because they're just like, oh my gosh, this guy's crazy. He's a conspiracy theorist. Smart cities, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with having faster Wi-Fi so I can connect while I'm in my car faster? It has nothing to do with that. Nothing at all. It has to do with connecting you to the city. The same cities that are going to be, like FEMA camps that they're going to usher you into. The reason they want everybody in these spots, right? All pushed and jammed together like cattle. That's the new world order for you. So smart cities, not a thing of the past, a thing of the future. No, a thing of now. And people don't see it. They don't realize what's going on. All these agendas are coming together right now and like a magnet sticking to a refrigerator. All of them. Depop, food shortages, 5G into 6G, smart cities. Boom, all of them swarming together for the mark, for the New World Order. And, well, all that leads to the trumpet sounding.